All right, everyone. Wednesday, 11 a.m. ish. Got a beautiful question about basics and pull-ups today. So looking forward to it. Here we go.
Hi everyone. I would love first to elaborate today on twisted pull-ups. And the first question being, who are they for? Are they only for advanced people? And the second part of the question is, why do them?
hmm Okay. So the point about twisting, what is twisting? In nature, every movement is a twisting motion. So I have learned that in anatomy books, muscles work as flexors, extensors, and all that kind of stuff. So let's take a practical example. The biceps extends the elbow, and the triceps flexes the elbow. Okay, that's not wrong, but I think it's incomplete. So that means there's a difference between studying muscles in dead bodies. That's anatomy, and there are beautiful maps and whatnot. But that's not how we should train the body. That's not how we should train the function of whatever the biceps or the lats or whatever muscle we're talking about. So there's a disconnect between that body muscles and how muscles work in training. And that's how the whole idea about twisting developed. Everybody knows this in practice. For example, when you do Arnold curls, you start like this at the bottom and you curl all the way up. You feel your biceps way more than just doing like normal
Mhm.
curls or arm extensions, arm flexing, however you want to call it. So the whole point about twisting is I looked at the attachment of muscles, where they attach on bones, and every single big muscle that we're trying to teach something has the potential of doing twists. So that means, for example, the lat is the first attachment is on the inside of the arm bone and on the pelvis. So whenever you do a twisting motion, like the muscle gets under tension, and that's how I think, and we're trying to prove this in practice, and we're proving it in practice. I think that's how the body should be trained. Um, and this does mean just body weight exercises doing this, but that's where we're going to start, especially for the shoulder. So let me dive deeper into it. The twisting push-up means you're gonna start on your fist in a supinated grip, and you're gonna push yourself up and ending in a pronated grip. So that means the whole arm and the whole shoulder does a twisting motion. This does two things. First, the muscle gets used as it wants to be used, according to the attachment, and stuff starts to actually function that is not being used when you just do regular pull-ups and just pushing up and down. So I think more and more that that's how the body is supposed to move, to actually move. And exercises that we came up with, whether it's a push-up or I don't know, barbell exercises, those are bad representations of what the body actually needs, or limited representations of what the body actually needs. So what we're trying to do now is, all right, how can we take the twisting concept and bring it into the body? In the shoulder, it's super simple. I talked about the twisting push-ups before. Same goes for the twisting pull-up. So a regular pull-up, depending on which grip you're using, is doing this, right? So what I want is I want to go from full internally rotated. That means setting up the muscles on one extreme side, pulling up and going fully towards the other side. So to create that twisting motion, that's gonna, trust me, that's gonna help you activate and engage way more muscles than you've ever used before. So I think you having shoulder pain doing a pull up is part of the solution is the twisting stuff. Because, for example, the coracobrachialis, so two parts of the biceps, are not going to be used if you just do like normal motions. Once you start twisting, those things start to happen. Every bodybuilder knows that because they do that kind of stuff. They do the twisting motions with the biceps, they do the Arnold curls, they do all that stuff without um, precisely knowing why, but they know that their arms are going to look bigger when they do it. All right. So now it's our job to translate that for normal people into their normal training. And I think that's where shoulder health and all that stuff lies at. Okay, back to the twisting pull-up. We're going to start with versions. For example, you're feet being on the floor, on rings, and you start practicing the position of the shoulder blade plus the twisting motions, focusing on the lats. And that's how you're going to end up with a healthy shoulder. And not only that, but you're also going to be able to, at some point, do a pull-up. That is basics for me. Not the exercise, the pull-up, but the basics are behind it. The twisting motion principles, the tension you want to look behind it, the jobs you have to teach your big muscles, and the positions of your bones needed. Those are the basics. Exercises are just representations of those basics. So an exercise can never be a basic. Like an air squat, a pull-up, a push-up, those are not basics. Those are representations of the basic principles that we want to teach. And however you want to do them, whether that's through push-ups, pull-ups, bench press, weightlifting, I couldn't care less. That's not my point, what I want to teach. The point is you understanding the basic principles and then applying it to any exercise that you fancy getting better at. And those are basics for me. Those are the basics for me.
Okay, and so would you say, just to come back to the bodybuilders you mentioned, because I guess that the argument for a bodybuilder would be to do like that twisting motion, for instance, as we have it in Arnold curl, to kind of like hit the muscle from different points to get like to an aesthetic goal. But you kind of like flip the coin and you put it like under the health bracket, and you looked at the option of how to get the shoulder into the full range of health, so to speak.
Yes. So the point is why I reference the bodybuilders, because there's no other sport on this planet that knows how to make every single muscle of your body grow. Outside of bodybuilding, this is not happening. That doesn't mean I think that's the best way how to do it, but they know how to do it. So that means if you want to, let's take a practical example. If you want to have a thick looking biceps on stage, like when you do the posing thing, you not only need to have like the two biceps thingies up here, like the long head and the short head, but you also need the brachialis, that's the one here, and you also need the coracobrachialis, that's the one more on the upper end of it. All four, I know it's called biceps, but it's still four muscles technically. You need all four to make it look good on stage. For us training this from a functional basis is if all of those four are working properly, your shoulder is going to be happy. That's the whole point. I don't need you to have big arms, but I need you to use all four parts of the biceps. Same goes for every other single muscle. That's why I'm referencing bodybuilders, because we have to study what they're doing to make every single muscle in your body work. And then we have to filter through, okay, what's needed for you if there's a shoulder problem, if there's a bench press stalling progress thing happening. And then we have to see, okay, this is why this is happening. And that's how I didn't come up with the twisting idea. This is all out there, but I'm translating it into training normal people to either have less shoulder pain or fucking bench press more weight. That's the whole point. And this comes from bodybuilding because they've studied this for centuries because they needed to for the sport. And I'm taking the principles of this and applying it to normal people to make whatever, their shoulder healthier, they're getting their first pull-up. And this is literally what we're doing in the gym, in whether that's warm-ups or working towards pull-ups, etc. So that's the basics for me. Again, the basics are not exercises. The basics are the principles behind it. And then you can do whatever you want with this. You can have, if you want to have like a super big arm, okay, go for it. I don't care. If you want to have 10 pull-ups, okay, cool. I don't care. If you want to have 200 kilo bench press, okay, I don't care. Stick to the principles, stick to the basic principles. Then you can do whatever you want with it.
And
that's it. Go ahead.
No, I wanted for us to break down, like from a practical standpoint now, when you do, for instance, program one session for someone, Let's say a complete beginner, how would you kind of like do that percentage-wise? Would you even just for the, I don't know, like how many first sessions, just have them focus on the twisting motion? Or when would you bring in stuff like normal quote unquote pull-ups, for instance?
This is a great question because that's exactly what I was looking for and missing, and I put it in a book. So I have a super simple two-step process. The first one, there's a shoulder roadmap in there. So that will show you basically how to start training your shoulder. First step is you have to practice positions and the twisting tension thing unloaded. That means a ton of whatever your current level is, a ton of twisting ring rows, twisting push-ups. So let's call it body weight movement, right? For the sake of understanding it better. The second step is you need to teach your shoulder how to bear load without switching positions and all the twisting stuff. So that's carries, for example, right? If you do a front rack carry, your shoulder blades stay in the same position, your muscles need to stabilize, but you're teaching your shoulder to learn how to bear more load than just doing body weight movements. That's the second step. And the in between towards, okay, now we need to move like a lot of weight with your shoulder, whether that's with barbells or sandbags or whatever that is. So that means now we're going to teach your shoulder how to move under heavy load.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so unloaded movements first, body weight, learn how to load the shoulder statically or with carries or what you want to call it. And third step is, okay, what do I have to do when I do a bench press? What happens with my shoulder blades when there's a lot of weight involved? And this is something different than just doing push-ups. So that's the basic three-step rope plan that's in the book. And the practical application of it are the templates. So this is roadmap is great, but I want to know, okay, what exactly do I need to do to get more pull-ups, more bench presses? And that's what the shoulder templates are for. Of course, there are exercises in there. The ones that I've proven in the last 7, 8, 9 years to have proven to have the fastest progress results included. That's why they're in there. They're not the only ones, but those ones work the best for me through obviously coaching them decently. Cool. So that means you're going to start with rope pulls, over the yoke rope pulls. You're going to start incorporating the twisting pull-ups in your warm-up. So there's a certain order of things relating to the roadmap that I just talked about, translated into exercises and translated into, okay, this is how you should do them. This is what you should focus on. And this is going to lead to you doing all the fancy stuff that I talked about in practice, just doing exercises, but knowing what to look for. So if you follow that roadmap, which is already built in the templates, so that means if you do the templates regularly, you will get better at whatever you're looking for in your shoulder. Again, bench press, pull-ups, push-ups, I don't care. This is how I knew that I was down to like super basic principles of what we're teaching, because it works for anything, no matter the execution, no matter the exercise. So when you do my stuff, you get better at weightlifting without practicing weightlifting. Whenever you practice my stuff, you get better at powerlifting without practicing powerlifting with me. You get better at climbing, but you're not practicing climbing with me. But you're practicing shoulder positions, you're practicing the right shoulder tension, how to express the tension through learning how to do the twisting motions.